Have you ever met someone who seems wise beyond their years, yet somehow looks younger than everyone else their age? Their eyes feel ancient. Their presence feels calm. Their energy feels gentle and light. But their face, their expressions, their overall vibe, it carries a strange kind of youthfulness that doesn't quite match the depth inside them. This isn't just genetics. It's not only skincare. And it's definitely not random. For many people with the INFJ personality type, looking younger than their age is connected to something deeper: their emotional processing, stress patterns, empathy levels, and inner world. Today, we're exploring why INFJs often appear younger, and how their unique psychological makeup shapes not just their personality, but their physical presence too. The INFJ personality, often called the advocate or the mystic, is known for emotional depth, strong intuition, and a reflective inner life. They are one of the rarest Myers-Briggs personality types, often described as old souls with gentle hearts. But there's an interesting paradox many people notice about INFJs. They seem emotionally mature, thoughtful, and wise. Yet physically, energetically, or socially, they often come across as younger than they actually are. This youthful quality isn't about immaturity. It's about emotional softness, internal processing, and the way INFJs carry stress, empathy, and meaning in their lives. Let's look at the deeper psychological reasons behind this phenomenon. 1. INFJs carry less surface-level tension. One of the subtle reasons the INFJ personality often gives off a youthful presence is the way they experience and express stress. INFJs feel deeply, sometimes more than they show, but their emotional reactions rarely explode outward in dramatic or aggressive ways. Instead of constant visible tension like raised voices, sharp competitiveness, or defensive body language, INFJs tend to turn inward when overwhelmed. They reflect, analyze, and try to understand their emotional state rather than projecting it onto the world around them. This inward style of processing creates a different kind of emotional imprint on the body. Chronic outward stress often tightens facial muscles, hardens expressions, and creates a guarded posture. Over time, this kind of tension becomes part of a person's visible presence. INFJs, by contrast, often carry a gentler, more neutral physical demeanor. Their expressions lean toward thoughtful, calm, or softly attentive rather than sharp or hardened. It's not that they don't experience anxiety, frustration, or emotional overload. They absolutely do. But the way their nervous system handles stress is often quieter and more internalized, which can result in less visible strain on their face and body language. Their emotional energy flows inward and through reflection rather than outward through confrontation. This creates an overall presence that feels softer, calmer, and, to many people, more youthful. 2. Deep feelers, but emotional processors. The INFJ personality type is often described as one of the most empathetic and emotionally sensitive introverts. They absorb the moods of others, reflect deeply on experiences, and feel both joy and pain with intensity. But what sets many INFJs apart is not just that they feel deeply, it's that they process deeply. INFJs have a natural instinct to make sense of their emotions. They replay conversations in their mind, journal their thoughts, take quiet walks to reflect, or sit in silence while untangling what they're feeling. Their inner world acts like an emotional processing center. Instead of storing emotional pain indefinitely, they try to understand it. This reflective habit can reduce the long-term buildup of unprocessed emotional stress. When emotions remain unexamined for years, they often manifest physically through chronic tension, fatigue, or emotional numbness. INFJs, through their constant introspection, gradually release emotional pressure in small, ongoing ways. Their empathy means they feel more, but their introspection helps them metabolize those feelings rather than carrying them rigidly in the body. This doesn't make them immune to burnout or emotional overwhelm. INFJs can absolutely become drained, but their tendency to self-reflect, seek meaning, and emotionally reorganize their experiences helps prevent the kind of emotional hardening that can subtly age someone's expressions and overall energy. Their emotional world stays fluid instead of frozen. 3. INFJs maintain a sense of inner wonder. Despite being serious, introspective thinkers, Many INFJs quietly maintain something that protects their youthful essence, a deep sense of inner wonder. They may not express it in loud excitement, but it shows in subtle ways. INFJs are often moved by music that stirs emotion, by sunsets that feel symbolic, by stories that explore the human condition. They think about meaning, possibility, and unseen connections in everyday life. They daydream. They imagine different futures. They notice beauty in small, quiet moments. This connection to imagination keeps a part of them psychologically young, while others may grow more purely practical or emotionally shut down over time. INFJs often keep a doorway open to their inner landscape, a place where curiosity, symbolism, and emotional richness still live. People who stay connected to imagination and emotional depth often carry a certain softness in their expressions. INFJs may have a distant, thoughtful gaze or a gentle attentiveness that feels open rather than hardened. It's not childlike in an immature sense. It's youthful in an alive sense. Their eyes often reflect thoughtfulness, sensitivity, and quiet curiosity, qualities people subconsciously associate with youthfulness and emotional openness. 4. Gentle social energy affects how they're perceived. Another reason INFJs often appear younger than their age lies in their social energy. The INFJ personality traits of empathy, emotional awareness, and introverted intuition make them naturally gentle communicators. They rarely dominate conversations or assert themselves with forceful presence. Instead, they listen closely, observe subtle cues, and respond with care. Their voice tone, facial expressions, and body language often reflect attentiveness rather than intensity. This kind of non-threatening, emotionally responsive energy is commonly associated with youthfulness in social perception. People subconsciously link harshness, rigidity, and constant social dominance with aging or emotional wear. INFJs, who tend to lead with softness and emotional receptivity, don't fit that pattern. They often smile gently rather than broadly perform. They make eye contact with warmth rather than intensity. They respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This creates an emotional presence that feels open, safe, and calm, qualities many people instinctively interpret as youthful, even if the INFJ is chronologically older. So it's not just about facial features or physical appearance. It's about the emotional atmosphere they carry with them, a quiet, compassionate energy that softens how others perceive their age. 5. They avoid draining, misaligned lifestyles. One subtle but powerful INFJ personality trait is their sensitivity to emotional misalignment. INFJs may stay in difficult situations for a while, hoping to help, understand, or improve things, but over time, their intuition starts sending quiet warning signals. A workplace that feels ethically wrong, a social circle built on gossip or superficiality, a lifestyle that's constantly loud, rushed, and overstimulating. These environments don't just irritate INFJs. They deplete them. Because INFJs are highly attuned to their inner emotional state, they eventually recognize when something is costing them more energy than it's giving back. And while leaving can feel scary or unconventional, many INFJs choose long-term emotional sustainability over short-term comfort or social approval. This might look like switching careers, downsizing their lifestyle, moving to a quieter place, or slowly distancing themselves from draining dynamics. From the outside, these decisions can seem overly sensitive or impractical, but from the inside, they are acts of self-preservation. Living in constant misalignment creates chronic stress that seeps into the nervous system. Over time, this kind of stress shows in posture, facial tension, and emotional fatigue. INFJs, guided by intuition and deeply held values, often course-correct before reaching total burnout. By choosing environments that feel emotionally safe and meaningful, INFJs help regulate their stress levels in the long run. A calmer nervous system often translates into softer facial expressions, more relaxed body language, and an overall presence that feels lighter and more youthful. Their life may not follow a conventional script, but it often protects their emotional vitality in ways that subtly show on the outside. 6. Their inner life keeps them reflective, not hardened. As people move through life, disappointment can slowly build emotional armor. Hurt turns into guardedness. Stress turns into defensiveness. Over time, this can harden a person's expressions and energy, making them seem older or more closed off. INFJs experience disappointment deeply, sometimes more intensely than most. But one key difference in INFJ emotional processing is their tendency to reflect rather than shut down completely. When something hurts them, INFJs often retreat inward to make sense of it. They ask quiet questions. What did this teach me? What does this reveal about my needs or boundaries? How can I grow from this without losing my ability to care? They don't always get it right. They can withdraw, overthink, or feel overwhelmed. But many INFJs resist becoming permanently cynical. Their natural empathy keeps pulling them back toward understanding of themselves and of others. This doesn't mean they excuse harmful behavior. It means they try not to let pain turn into permanent emotional closure. They remain emotionally permeable, still capable of warmth, still able to be moved by beauty, still willing to connect, even after being hurt. That ongoing openness prevents the emotional rigidity that often shows up physically as tight expressions, guarded posture, or a hardened social presence. INFJs may grow wiser and more cautious with age, but they often retain a softness in their demeanor, a sign that their inner world is still alive and feeling. 7. Old soul energy, young surface energy. This is one of the most fascinating INFJ personality paradoxes. Inside, INFJs often feel ancient. They think deeply about life, purpose, relationships, and the human condition. They notice patterns others overlook. They carry emotional insight that feels far beyond their years. Many INFJs are described as old souls from a young age. And yet, on the outside, they frequently appear gentle, calm, and quietly youthful. Their speech may be soft, their expressions thoughtful rather than hardened, their energy steady rather than forceful. This contrast creates a unique impression, someone who feels emotionally wise and deeply reflective, yet carries a softness that feels almost timeless. Their depth comes from empathy, intuition, and reflection. Their youthful quality comes from emotional openness, imagination, and a refusal to fully close their heart to the world. INFJs don't avoid aging, they simply move through life with emotional fluidity instead of emotional rigidity. They adapt, reflect, and reshape themselves internally rather than building thick outer armor. So while time passes, their inner world continues to breathe, imagine, and feel. And that quiet aliveness often shows in their eyes, their expressions, and their presence, giving them that unmistakable blend of old soul wisdom and youthful emotional energy. If you're an INFJ and people often say, "You don't look your age," it may have less to do with your face, and more to do with your inner world. Your empathy softens you. Your reflection releases emotional weight. Your imagination keeps part of you connected to wonder. Your values guide you away from environments that harden the spirit. Youthfulness, in this sense, is not about time. It's about how much of your emotional openness you've managed to keep. And INFJs, despite life's heaviness, often carry a quiet ability to stay gentle, with others, and with themselves. That gentleness shows